This is the Rowan Bridge. It's a covered bridge. Like in Lexi's Thomas the Train cartoons. Except it's a road one. So it's cool. We already drove across it. And there's the river it goes across. They're taking pictures of him. That's a cool bridge too. But this one's the famous one. They were advertising it as a tourist attraction, therefore it is famous. How did we see the sign? It's an attraction, it's a tourist attraction. They have a festival for it. It is a tourist attraction.
Maybe for the state,
A wasp nest up there.
Carol, this is cool. You were born in 1977. This bridge was built 100 years before you were born.
Look at all those wasp nets up there, Aunt Anne.
Huh?
Look at all those wasp nets. I don't particularly like wasps. Maybe they're not wasps. I don't know what they are. They're some sort of insect. I'll keep doing the video when we go through, I guess. Walk all the way through. Because my dad will love this. I haven't done many videos so far on the trip yet, but I was planning on doing them. This is cool. Hopefully the video won't take up too much space. I can't remember how much I have. This is cool. Got old nail stuff, you know. Oh, here comes the open part. Isn't that pretty? They got these steel things, or iron things, or people doing their carvings, their love carvings in the bridge. Well, that's cool. Wonder why that part's open and the rest isn't. I guess we'll just go all the way through. See the other side. There's a graveyard on the other side. Oh, that's cool. It's cool that it can even hold 4 tons. So this is the church, one of the church buildings where Carl served his mission in Warsaw. And there's Carl.
Fireflies were all over the glass.
Cool. This is the back of it. Okay, we're gonna go across this really cool bridge in Illinois here. It's gonna be super fun. This is my first time coming anywhere east except Florida. This is so cool. Come on, Big Bridgie.
There's the lake. Folks fun riding.
Cool. That is the biggest lake I have ever seen, man. Whoa.
I will.
Whoosh,
We're gonna
whoosh,
let her
whoosh,
do
whoosh, whoosh.
her video, her thing first.
This is so cool. Oh, and there's an old one. An old thing. That's real cool. Alright.
wife, and their 7 children. And they all lived here, and they were in charge of taking care of the prisoners that were here. So when Joseph and Hiram were here, they were actually allowed to have visitors come and go, and even spend the night here. John Taylor was one of the men that would come and spend nights here, and when he did, he kept a journal. So he wrote about kind of how it worked here in Carthage jail. He said that when you were a prisoner here, you had to pay for everything that you would use. So you had to pay for your meals that were provided by the jailer's wife. You had to pay for paper, ink, candles, any of those things. But John Taylor also wrote and said that George Stegall allowed Joseph and Hiram, and also the other men that were here visiting them, to eat with him and his family. And that was a very, very unique situation. And George Stegall normally wouldn't have allowed prisoners to eat with his family, but he really trusted them. And he wanted them to spend time with his kids, to get to know them better. So they would have done that in this dining room, and they would have spent a lot of time in here as well. And at the end of each room, if anyone has any questions, just interrupt me, but if not, we'll keep moving. We'll just go down the hall. That was here in Carthage jail. This one is called the debtor's cell. This is where Joseph and Hiram spent their first night, which was the 25th of June in 1844. That night there was also 8 men that decided to come and join them as visitors. So there was 10 men in here total that just slept on this floor that first night. But this room wasn't very safe for them because it's on this main level. It was no secret that Joseph was here, and there were men that would just walk around the jail taunting them constantly. And so after they did spend that first night in here, George Stegall decided to move them upstairs, and he put them into his own personal bedroom, which says a lot because he had only known them for 1 day. But he already trusted them and cared about them, and so he was willing to sacrifice his space in his room for them, and he also trusted them because this room had no working lock on the door. So even after only knowing them for 1 day, he got to know them really well. He understood what kind of people they were, and he treated them with as much kindness as he could. So next we'll go upstairs. Before we go up there, I just want to let you know that the staircase is original, and so is the railing that'll be on your right-hand side, which is the shorter railing. And when the mob came, about half of them rushed up those exact stairs. There was 150 to 200 men total, and 30 to 50 of them went in through that door just right across from the stairs and ran right up. So just keep that in mind as you're going up. Also keep in mind that Joseph and Hiram would have went up those stairs as well. Is there any questions before we head upstairs? Okay. So this was another one of the holding cells. This was the second one that they had here. This one is called the dungeon cell. Joseph and Hiram Smith never spent a night in this one, but there is one story in particular that makes it really special. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. After Joseph Smith was shot, and after he'd fallen out of the window that was in the jailer's bedroom, which is the room next door to us, the mob rushed out of the building. They went outside and they wanted to see if Joseph was dead or not. At this point, Lloyd Richards was still left in the room. He was one of the men that was visiting. He was one of Joseph's closest friends. He looked out of the window and he saw the prophet's body on the ground, and he knew that he was dead. He also knew that the mob would be coming back, and if he was going to survive this, that he had to get himself out of there quickly. But as he turned to leave, he heard a voice say, "Take me with you." And that voice came from John Taylor. At this point, John Taylor was in very, very poor condition. He had had been shot 4 times. One of these bullets hit his hip and caused a fist-sized hole in his hip. Another one of the bullets hit his pocket watch and caused him to go about halfway underneath the bed. And so that's where he was when Willard found him. And so Willard Richards picked up John Taylor and brought him into this very room to hide him from the mob. He placed him under a mattress of straw, and as he was doing so, just continued to apologize. It was written in journals that this room looked like it had never been cleaned before. So the straw and the mattress were rotten. And Willard Richards felt terrible for placing John Taylor under there, but he just told him, "John, you have to survive this. You have to be a witness to what happened here." And so he placed him under the mattress to hide him, and then Willard stood by the door as a guard and just waited for the mob. He assumed that when the mob returned that they would kill him, and that John Taylor would be the only one to survive. But as he was waiting, there was somebody outside that shouted, "The Mormons are coming." And because of this, the mob became afraid, and they completely left the city. What's interesting is that the Mormons weren't coming because they didn't even know yet. They were all the way in Nauvoo. And so we don't know who said that, and we don't know why they said that, but it saved their lives that day. Both Willard Richards and John Taylor survived this. They were both witnesses to what happened, and both of them wrote down their accounts of the martyrdom, and pretty much everything that you'll hear on this tour comes from their journals. And so it's a real blessing that they were witnesses, that they were able to record the events that took place here so that we could know what really happened. Also, John Taylor became the 3rd prophet of the church, and Willard Richards became an apostle. So it's pretty obvious as to why their lives were saved. They had still a lot of work to do on the earth. About a year before the martyrdom, Joseph Smith was talking to Willard Richards, and he made a prophecy. He told Willard that a day would come when bullets would fly past him like hail, and his friends would fall on his left and on his right, but that no bullet would pierce his garment, and that is exactly what happened. Willard Richards had a bullet just graze his left earlobe, and that's the only injury that he received, which is a miracle. With all his mob members rushing up the stairs and the rest surrounding the jail, all being armed, with all his bullets flying through the room, and the fact that he only had that small injury, it doesn't make any sense, but it's because God was protecting him. If Willard hadn't have been in such good condition, he wouldn't have been able to help John Taylor, and he wouldn't have been able to recover the bodies of both Joseph and Hiram, and to bring them to the Hamilton Hotel that was here in Carthage at that time. And so everything that happened here in Carthage jail happened in the way that it was supposed to, and the Lord's hand was in all of it, and I know that. The next room that we're going to go into is what we call the martyrdom room, and this is the jailer's bedroom. This is the place that they spent their 2nd night here in Carthage jail, and this is where they were when the mob arrived. And does anyone have any questions before we go into that room? Okay.
You look like you're crying or something.
Alright, so when they were here that 2nd night, there were 7 men in here total. Joseph and Hiram Smith were asleep on a bed much like this one. The other visitors were all asleep on the floor. It was John Taylor, Willard Richards, Dan Jones, John Fulmer, and Stephen Markham that were here visiting. At about midnight that night, there was somebody outside that shot a gun. So all of the men woke up. Joseph